Lock 'em up.
Do it, lady.
And almost as soon as, like, right before I unmuted our mics, I hear, lock 'em up from the next room. This is private property.
How's it going?
How's your week been?
Spooky? Has it been spooky?
Hope it's been spooky.
It's only mid-September at this point.
Yeah.
So we're ramping up.
Yeah.
It's always spooky season.
It's always spooky season in my heart, for sure.
But it's not like spooky season proper yet, guys.
Right.
But we're trying to get you ready. We're trying to get you there.
It's getting dark around 6:45, 7 now.
Which means pretty soon I'm going to be able to watch movies on my projector outside. And it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, brother. That'd be nice.
I can't wait.
I think I'm going to start doing, like...
Ooh, maybe I should... No.
I think I'm going to start doing myself a little, like, spooky season movie marathon of, like, my favorites. Like, Hocus Pocus.
What if I sat
Practical
outside?
Magic. Oh my
girl, I almost
God.
knocked that whole table over.
Amara, we really got to find a system. Because this ain't working for me.
What if I sat out... Because where I would sit with my projector would be over on the side porch, you know?
Yeah.
So the neighbors can see what we're watching. What if I was sitting out there watching, like, dirty movies?
Hardcore porn. I don't know why my voice cracked when I said that.
Brought out the
frog in me.
That's her. That's your bedroom personality.
Large Marge.
Big Deborah.
Not the Big Deborah. Get your asshole off me.
You ever had your asshole licked by a man?
I think my gummy's kicking in and I think you're getting tired. Alright. I can already see where this episode is gonna go. So, this week...
Maybe less spooky and more funny.
Yeah.
My
Which is
already
fine.
hurts.
Which is fine. I think that's better. So this week we're gonna do we wanted to do like creepypastas at some point, but I know that like some people use Reddit to like market their books, and like other podcasts have gotten like cease and desist letters for telling Reddit stories. So we decided it might be better to just create our own. And we've got some like I found like a list of some story prompts that are like for Halloween stories. So.
And we're just gonna
go back and forth, line by
turns.
line, and like just create some sort of story. Amara's always got something to say. Anyway, you want to get right into it?
Yep.
Okay. Prompt number 1. Story number 1. A haunted house appears only on Halloween night.
First of all, I like that we can look across the room.
That was my
other.
favorite thing when I realized how I had stepped. Like, this was not purposeful. This was purely accidental because I had entirely different plans for how this room was going to look. And it just worked out that the feng shui of it works, that we're directly across from each other now and not side by side.
But I'm going to tell you that I can only see because of your computer screen. So it's like Wilson from Home Improvement.
Nice. I love that. All right. So a haunted house appears only on Halloween night.
Okay. Is that like our beginning line, or that's just the plot?
That's the first line, I think.
Okay. I think we should just. I think that's just going to describe.
Premise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You want me to start?
Sure.
I'm going to try and stray away from like once upon a time. On a cold Halloween night in the year 1974,
Okay.
a young man and his little brother went trick-or-treating. Am I just doing one line?
Yeah, you can just
Okay.
do one line.
All right, go.
They went trick-or-treating. They were walking down a dilapidated sidewalk when the younger brother stopped and looked up and said, "Where'd that house come from?"
The older brother looks, and he, in fact, sees this house that he's never seen before. As they were fairly new to the area. They had just moved there a couple months prior. So he looks and he says, "I got no damn clue."
Well, the younger brother says, "Maybe we should go knock on the door." So they walk up the sidewalk, walk up the steps, and ring the doorbell.
I have questions. Were the lights on?
No.
Okay. Then they shouldn't have knocked on the door. That means they're not participating. Anyway. They hear the doorbell ring from the inside of the house. Outside of that, there was no noise. However, they hear the deadbolt turn and unlock, and then they hear the doorknob start to turn.
Mm-hmm.
As this is happening, they both get this really odd, uneasy feeling that floods over them.
Mm-hmm.
Can I keep going?
Yeah.
Okay. As the door creaks open, they see this abnormally large man open the door. And they both hold out their candy pails and they say, "Trick or treat."
Mm.
I just had a good one.
Keep going. If you've got something, keep going.
Okay. The old man says, "Get your ass off of my porch!" So the boys run. They run so fast that they drop their pails, their candy, and they just keep going.
The next morning,
But then it's not there because it's not Halloween.
listen,
Okay.
hear me out. The next morning, at breakfast, the dad asks, "How was trick-or-treating last night? I didn't see any candy." The older brother says, "Dad, the craziest thing happened. There was this house we've never seen before, right? And we go and we ring the doorbell and the man just yells at us and it scared us and we dropped our candy. We just came straight home." And the younger brother is like, "Oh my God, you will never believe it. We have to go back." So, after breakfast, begrudgingly, their dad walks down the street with them to where the house was. And they can't believe what they find when they get there.
My turn.
Yeah.
The house is gone.
Yeah.
Their candy's there, but the house is gone. There's no house.
Mm.
And the dad's looking around and he's like, "What the hell are y'all talking about? There's no house here. It's just your candy."
Yeah.
But in the back of his mind, he's like, "This is odd.
Right.
Why would they have made the story up and their candy's here?"
Yeah.
obviously dropped, strewn everywhere.
Yeah.
So the kids gather their candy and their pails and they take it back home.
Because littering is bad.
Right. And they get home and they go through it and throw away the pieces that the bugs had gotten to. And then start divvying up, doing the whole trading process as siblings will. And the whole time the dad's sitting here trying to figure out what's going on. And the older brother is just calculating, like, this wasn't a dream. Mm-hmm. This house was really there. There's something going on.
Yeah. My turn.
Yep.
The dad, later that night, is laying in bed, thinking about this house and his son's experience. And he remembers when he lived in the house when he was a kid.
But they had just moved there.
No, maybe his parents died.
Okay.
His parents died. He inherits the house.
Got you. Okay.
So the family moves in. They moved in from out of state because he lived out of state with the kids,
Okay.
And he remembers an incident from when he was a kid in the same neighborhood on Halloween of a house. But the lights were on when they rang the doorbell.
So for the next 363 days, the dad has thought about this. The kids have just kind of dismissed it, not
kids
thinking.
Moved on with their lives.
Yeah, it's a fleeting moment for them. But the dad's been sitting here and just really, really thinking about it. And he's talked to the mom about it. And he's like, there's something going on, and we've got to figure this out. And the mom's just like, y'all are all crazy. She doesn't believe anything.
Right.
And
she didn't grow up in the area.
So he just kind of keeps to himself about it. And he's devising a plan that the next Halloween, he's going to take the boys trick-or-treating. And they're going to see if this house is there. So Halloween comes around. The boys get dressed. This is 1975. I don't know what was cool back then. One kid was dressed up like a ghost.
Evil Knievel.
Okay, I like it. One was dressed up as Evil Knievel, and the other one was dressed up like a greaser.
There we go.
Okay. If you don't know what a greaser is, then you're too young to be here. Watch The Outsiders, read the book. Okay.
The book's better.
It is. But the movie's got...
The movie's really good, too.
The movie's got Patrick Swayze. So, there's that. And so they take out to go trick-or-treating. They walk down this sidewalk, and they're doing their trick-or-treating in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Your turn.
And then they see the house up on the hill, torch lit on the porch. Whole porch is lit up. And the younger one recognizes the house and says, "Dad, that's that house. That's the one from last year when that old man yelled at us. There's lights on this year." And the dad, remembering his experience as a kid, the lights on the porch, and going to ring the doorbell. But when the door was answered that time, it was by...
When he was a kid? Or this year? The
dad was the kid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the dad's memory.
Okay, I got you.
So he remembers the door being opened by an old woman. Your turn.
And when the old woman answered the door, she seemed kind of sweet. And she handed him a couple pieces of small wrapped candies. Probably those disgusting
Charleston Chews or something.
listen, you keep that name out your mouth. I love a Charleston chew. She hands him just a couple pieces of, of individually wrapped hard candies, as an old lady will have on hand, and tells him, happy Halloween. And he just scantered off on his own little way without thinking about it. But this time, as an adult, the dad's like, there's something hinky going on. This is some Scooby-Doo shit.
Exactly.
So he decides that he wants to investigate, but he wants to take the boys to knock on the door to see what happens this time. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the older son has already devised a plan in his head that after all is said and done tonight and they go to bed, him and a group of his little friends are going to get together and they're going to go check this house out. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Okay.
So they make their way up the steps. They ring the doorbell. They hear the doorbell ring from inside the house. And then they stand there. And they wait.
My turn?
Mm-hmm.
The door unlocks the same as it did the year before. And the door slowly creeps open. But this time, there's no one there. The younger brother says, "Trick or treat." No response. The dad, despite how terrified he is, leans over to poke his head in the door. It's pitch black inside. To peek his head in the door, and the door slams in his face before he can enter the threshold at all. And it locks back. They ring the doorbell again. Trick or treat. Silence. Nothing's there. The older brother sighs and says, "This house is messed up." And he turns and walks away, playing off nonchalance. Like it's no big deal. This house is weird. To not raise suspicion that he's going to bolt out the window later. Dad grabs the younger kid. And the kid's like, "Dad, what is going on?" And he's like, "I don't know." And they walk away and everybody goes home. But later that night,
the dad decides that he wants to investigate once they've put the kids to bed. So everybody goes to bed. Dad gives it 30, 45 minutes to make sure that the kids are good and asleep. And the wife's asleep because she's like me, and the second her head hits the pillow, she's done for.
What's that like?
And so
that's the real spooky story.
He quietly sneaks out the front door. All the while, the older brother's upstairs sneaking out his window. Somehow, they both managed to get to the house without seeing the other one. Okay? Yeah. Well, the younger boy has met up with his friends behind the neighbor's house. Okay?
Yeah.
And so they devised the plan that instead of going to the front door, they're going to sneak around the back of the house.
Yeah.
And try and go in like a back door if there is one. Mm. Dad's just like, I'm going to face this head on.
Yeah.
So Dad goes up to the front door. The kids, the older kids go around to the back door. And at this point, it's pretty late.
Yeah. There's
lights in the house. Mm-hmm. And so the boys are looking through the window. And they could see lights flickering, like candlelight. Mm-hmm. The dad walks up the front porch and sees the lights through the window. However, he also sees through the house to the back window, and he sees his son in the back window.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At first, he thinks it must be some sort of vision or something. He thinks he's seeing things. As surely his son is not at this house as well. His son's at home in bed.
He's a better parent than me, because my first initial thought would be like, I'm about to beat your ass.
Surely his son was good enough to not sneak out and try to get to this house, much like he has done. He tries the doorknob, and it's unlocked. The door opens. He walks in, and there's a little sitting room, a little living room, and candles everywhere. And he walks through the little foyer, and he's walking towards, at this point, the son hasn't seen him, as the son is seeing something different. The son is looking into a pitch black room and sees nothing. And the dad continues to walk towards what appears to be a kitchen, where his son is appearing to him. Go ahead.
And as he enters this kitchen, as soon as he crosses the threshold of the separations of rooms, okay,
Mm-hmm.
the room goes dark. And he's all of a sudden in this, like, abyss.
Mm.
There's nothing. He looks down, and it's just black. There's no floor, but he's standing on something solid. And he's like, oh shit, I've messed up. And then he's thinking, did I have one too many scotches before I left this house?
Yeah.
And then all the while, the son and his friends have decided to try and sneak in this back door that they found, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they walk in. Now, keep in mind, these kids are probably, we're going to say, 13, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They walk in, they get, the back door's unlocked, and they walked in. And it leads to, like, we're going to say a mud room, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And they're noticing that there's, like, not a whole lot there. Not like any furniture or anything. And they walk through the next doorway, which takes them to, like, a formal dining room, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So while they're in the formal dining room, they're checking it out. The table is set with all these elaborate place settings, all the fancy, like, gold silverware. It's super nice. And they're like, this shit's bougie.
Yeah.
What have we wandered into?
Right.
So they're walking through, and meanwhile, they hear something upstairs. And it sounds, they can't decide what it is that they're hearing. But it sounds like this. If y'all can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
It's banging, okay? In a very specific pattern. Okay?
Yeah.
And they're like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So one of the boys says, let's go upstairs and figure it out. So they turn the corner to go into another room to where they think that the stairs might be. And just as they get around and they see the stairs and they're thinking about walking up the stairs, they hear voices upstairs. It's a deep male voice and a woman's voice, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you hear the woman yell, "Oh God!" And then, just at that exact moment, the
Mm-hmm.
dad, who's in this dark abyss,
Mm-hmm.
hears this same sound, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I know what's going on there. This is some, but why am I in this abyss?
Mm-hmm.
So he turns to come back the same way that he came,
Mm-hmm.
thinking that maybe if he can just get out of this room, he'll be back to where he was.
Mm-hmm.
So about this time, he turns around to exit the abyss, and
I have an idea of how I'd like this story to end.
okay, go for it. Turn it.
He turns, and the entranceway is gone. There's no way out of this room. And he realizes that he should have never come in this house. And he's pretty sure that this has happened to him before. Meanwhile, his son and his friends are about to step up onto the stairs when the house vanishes from around them. And the dad is nowhere to be found. They didn't know he was there. So everybody is freaked out, obviously. But they all kind of swear to not really say anything because they don't think anybody will believe them. So kid goes home. The next day, where's dad? And the mom's like, I'm not really sure. He went out for a walk last night and never come home. Never came home. And the kid is sitting there kind of just like staring at his bowl of cereal like, shit. The next day, well, mom calls the police, but of course, they're like, he probably just went out for milk. And it's all over the news. The guy, like in the newspapers, she swears he wouldn't have left. A year goes by. And take it away.
So at this point, the kids have adapted as much as they can to a life of having a single mom. And the older brother says, I'm a little too old for trick-or-treating, but my little brother would still like to go, so I'll take him trick-or-treating again. So they make their way down the sidewalk. And they look up, and here's the house. And the older brother's like, yeah, we ain't doing that.
Right.
And the little brother is like, maybe this year we'll get lucky. So let's go knock on that house's door. And the older brother's like, bro, I don't think so. Let's not go there. And the little brother just keeps insisting. So he goes and he knocks on the door, or they ring the doorbell. And again, the lights are on. And so they ring the doorbell and they hear everything unlocked. Do you have a place where you want this to go?
Not particularly. If you've got an idea, take it away.
So this time, when the door opens, they see the outline, the figure of a man, but the person stays far enough back to where it's dark and they can't see him. And they say, trick or treat. And the man says, run away. And so they both kind of look at the man because they both think they've seen this man before.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't immediately run away. They're just they're stuck. And again, the man says, I said, run away. And they're both like, why is this man telling me to run away? This isn't the big man that answered the first year.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on?
The older brother looks in and says, are you okay? And the little brother's like, come on, let's go. I'm getting kind of scared. But the older brother insists that the man seems familiar to him. And the man again says, you need to run away. You need to leave. You shouldn't be here. I should have never been here. And I feel like the boys should really be more scared. I feel like they're being a little too nonchalant.
Right. He's just a brave soul.
Yeah. And the older brother says, who are you? And from the darkness, a long hand reaches out. And just before it touches the older brother, he sees his dad's wedding ring. The end. I still don't know what's wrong with that house, but
Right.
all right.
I don't even know how we'd go about this second one.
Let me see. Ooh, I do.
Okay.
I got a good one.
So you start this one.
All right. We'll call her, we'll do a female main character. We'll call her Isabella.
I was going to say Josephina.
Let's do Isabel. That's
Okay.
a little easier.
Okay.
Isabel is with her friends, and they're having a pumpkin carving contest at their annual Halloween party. And Isabella is doing a basic little cat face in her pumpkin, when suddenly she starts to hear what sounds like whispering. She can't make out what's being said, but she hears whispering. And at first she just thinks she's kind of hearing things, or it's like the noise of the party or something. But then it starts to get a little louder, and she can start to make out what it's saying. Take it away. See what you do with that.
So as she really starts to listen in and figure out what's going on, she hears the words,
Fart knocker.
it's not where I was going with this, and I don't know how I feel about where I was going. You may have to go edit this out. Epstein didn't kill himself.
Lord. Not the direction I was going.
Okay. I'll come up with another one. Hold on. That was immediately what I thought. Okay, so she hears. The neighbor's cat didn't run away. And she thinks, the hell? What's that about?
Whose cat?
Who? neighbor had a cat? What? So she just dismisses it. Maybe like somebody around her is saying something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So then she goes to carve a little bit more into this pumpkin, and she hears. Oh, I'm lost. You go ahead.
Okay. She hears. That little girl didn't run away.
Again, not where I was going. I was about to Google something stupid.
Isabel starts to wonder if she's losing her mind a little bit. Because there's no way possible that this pumpkin is speaking to her. There's no way. It's, it's a pumpkin. That's crazy. That's silly stuff. As she's continuing, she hears from the pumpkin beside her,
KFC's secret recipe doesn't really have 11 herbs and spices. It's only 10.
she thinks, what a weird thing for a pumpkin to say. But next to her, she hears, the river needs more. More what? Isabel says. What are you talking about? Her friend next to her says. Nothing. Don't worry about it. I think I'm just tired. I think after this I might go home. So her friend's like, are you okay? You don't look okay. And Isabel hears from in front of her, the river needs more. She's like, no, I need to go. And she stops. And her friend's like, are you sure you're all right? Do you need to be driving? No, I've only had one drink. I'm okay. And Isabel goes to her car. She sits there for a minute. Your turn.
So she's sitting in her car. She's like, man, maybe someone spiked my drink. Maybe I've been roofied. So she gives it a few minutes just to make sure nothing's gonna like kick in while she's driving, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like, crap, I left my pumpkin and I didn't finish it. I need to finish that before the party.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, let me run back in and get that. So she runs in and her friends are like, oh, are you going to stay? And she's like, no, I just came in to pick up my pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
So on the way back out to the car, she thinks, I'm not putting this thing in the front seat with me. I'm going to put it in the trunk.
Mm-hmm.
So she puts it in the trunk. And she takes off heading home. And while she's driving down the road, she hears clunk, clunk, clunk in the trunk. She's like, oh, it's just rolling around back there. No big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So when she gets home, she just walks on in the house, leaves the pumpkin out in the trunk, doesn't think anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
She's hanging out at the house, decides to sit down in the living room and watch a movie. Let me just unwind. I'll drink me a nice little glass of wine,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll unwind. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Watch a movie. So she sits down to watch her favorite movie, Practical Magic.
Mm-hmm. Solid choice.
So she's really enjoying the movie.
Got her a little bowl of popcorn.
Yeah, yeah. And so about halfway through the movie, she's like really tired.
Yeah.
She says, you know what? I'm going to go on to bed. So she goes to make sure the front door is locked, but as she looks out the front windows, she notices that the dome light in her car is on. And she's like, I must have left the door open. So when she goes out there to check to make sure that the doors are all shut properly, she thinks, oh, I better get that pumpkin out of the back in case it like starts to rot or something from where I've started to carve it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that stink to be in my car. So let me get that out of there.
Mm-hmm. My
Continue.
turn. She gets her keys. She heads outside to make sure she shut the door all right. And she pops the trunk and gets the pumpkin. And she hears, the river needs more. She drops it immediately and is like, fuck that pumpkin.
I've done so good and I hadn't said it, even though I wanted to.
She goes in the house and she locks the door and she goes upstairs, gets into bed. She's pretty tired, so she falls asleep pretty quick. And she's awoken in the middle of the night, about 3 a.m.
Of course.
The river needs more.
Oh, it's louder.
She jolts awake and looks on her bedside table, and there's the pumpkin.
She says, what the fuck? I dropped you outside. What the fuck are you talking about? The river needs more. So then she takes the pumpkin back outside. And she thought, maybe she just thought she dropped it outside and really she just brought it in. She takes it back outside. She's like, I don't know. This is weird. I'm going to put you back outside. And she locks the door. And she sits down and now she can't go back to sleep. So she's scrolling on her phone. She's doom scrolling. And she sees a news story talking about how there's been like 3 missing girls. And one of them happens to live in her neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And they've been missing for a little while. And she hadn't heard this story previously, which is odd because it's a small town.
Right.
And so she notices that there's search parties out. And she's like, I ought to help. And so then finally she gets to a point where, it's like 4:30. She's starting to get kind of tired. She's chalked it up to too much wine. And she decides to sleep on the couch instead of in bed. She lays down. About the time she starts to doze, she hears it again. The river needs more. And she's like, that's it. I ain't sleeping. So the next morning, she decides to join in on this search party.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. She goes to the police station to volunteer her time to help look for the girls. And they give her a reflective vest and tell her to go to one of the main camp set up at one of the parks off the river. And she goes, she's given an assignment and a buddy, and they start walking down the river's edge, kind of like a wooded area. And she hears, the river needs more. Did you hear that? Hear what? Did you say something? No, I didn't say anything. Oh, well, maybe I'm just hearing things. What'd you hear? Well, I just thought I heard somebody whispering. No, I didn't hear anything. So they keep looking. They keep walking. And she hears it again. The river needs more. She just keeps trying to brush it off. Thinks maybe it's time to see someone. When all of a sudden,
I'm glad you're going this direction because that's where I was going.
I don't know, maybe we're going in the same direction. All of a sudden, they hear a splash. And they both, at the same time, whip their heads around. Go ahead.
And one of the other helpers that had been assigned to the other side of the riverbank had fallen in. Mm-hmm. Is that where you were going?
Not really.
Oh.
It's fine. I like it. It's better.
They had fallen in. And so they panic and they're like, oh no, because this person is obviously struggling. Like something's pulling them down. Mm-hmm. So they panic. And then Isabel's buddy was like, we got to jump in and save them. Because to them, it doesn't appear that the river is flowing at a very fast pace. It's pretty slow.
Yeah. They're not in a heavy current area.
Right. And this isn't a huge river.
Right.
And so as her buddy says this and, looks like they are about to start to jump in, it occurs to Isabel that maybe that's not a good idea. Because she's been hearing the river needs more. Mm-hmm. So she says, I don't think that's a good idea. And her buddy says, but they're going to drown. They obviously can't swim.
Yeah.
And she says, yeah, but if you jump in, you may also drown. Mm-hmm. And the buddy doesn't listen. The buddy just jumps on in there.
Okay. Me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The buddy seems to be swimming at a pretty decent speed toward the searcher who has fallen in. When suddenly the fallen searcher disappears. Almost immediately followed by the buddy disappearing. One of the other searchers from across the river, Isabel hears her radio. Hey, we've got a problem. Send a boat up here. 2 searchers underwater. So the boat comes really quickly because it was close by. Can't find them. No idea where they are. They've got a net or whatever it is, search, research, water rescue. They've got, they're looking. They've got sonar or radar, whatever it is. If I was actually writing the story, I would bother to look into what that's called. And no evidence that they were ever even in the water. Isabel realizes that this is not the place for her. And she hears, the river still needs more. She's Audi 5000. Go ahead.
So she leaves. And she decides that she's going to go to her mom's house. Maybe her mom can talk some sense out of what's happening. And she gets there. And her mom says, and she tells her mom what all's happened. And her mom goes, I was wondering if this day would come. And she says, Mom, what the hell are you talking about? And about that time, she hears footsteps from behind her, coming from the living room because they were sitting in the kitchen. And it's her grandmother who's blind and has been sitting in the same chair day in and day out for the last 5 years and has not spoken a word. And now her grandmother's walking into the kitchen and looks right at her like she can see her and says, "It's time you know." And Isabel's like, everyone in this world but me is
nuts.
What is going on? And she's like, "What are y'all talking about?" And the mom says, "I'm going to need you to take a deep breath, and I'm going to need you to listen very closely at what you're about to be told. And I know that you're going to be skeptical, but I'm going to need you to trust what we are telling you." And the grandma says, "If you don't listen, then it's not going to end well for you." And she's like, "Oh shit, here we go."
Okay.
Go ahead.
Her mother and grandmother take a significant amount of time to explain to her her family lineage and a burden that has been placed on her, the women in her family.
Oh my God, I think you're going where I wanted this to go.
Where they have to appease a creature that lives in the river.
This is where I wanted it to go.
And if you don't, the river takes you. Go ahead.
So she's sitting here and she's like, "I'm done. I'm over this. I'm just going to go jump in the river myself. Because I can't put somebody else's life like that. I can't take away somebody's life like that." And her mom's like, "Now listen, I know this is rough, but like when it speaks to you, you have to feed it until it's satiated." And she says, "Mom, did you have to do this?" She says, "Yes." And the mom and Isabel says, "How many people did you have to sacrifice?" And the mom says, "More than you need to know." And she's like, "Well, has this been in my lifetime?" And the mom's like, "You're on a need to know basis." And the grandma says, "You had 3 siblings." And she's like, "No, I'm an only child." And she says, "No, dear, you're not. And your mom is not an only child either." And Isabel's like, "Well, I'm fucking glad I don't have any kids."
So she decides she's never having any.
Yeah. So she says, "What am I supposed to do? I can't do this. I could take this in so many directions." And the mom says, "You have to. You don't have a choice. It's either you or someone else." Okay, you go ahead.
"It's going to have to be someone else. I don't know that I can do this," she says. "I can't sacrifice people I know to a river creature that you two say exists. I don't think so. I think more of schizophrenia runs in our family than whatever this is." Can
I add?
You can.
She says, "Have y'all ever seen this river monster?" And they said, "No, it only appears to select people, the special people." Okay? Okay. Now, I have a plan.
Carry it away.
No, you keep going because it's not going to happen until a little bit later.
Okay.
I can make this happen out of anything. Just give it to me.
Okay. How do you know if you're a special chosen one? She asks. And her mother says, well, her mother was a special chosen one. And I wish she was still here for us to ask. Because anyone who has seen it doesn't come back.
Okay, I can still use that.
Okay. Go ahead.
So she says, okay, look. I can't I don't want to sacrifice anyone. But I don't also want to sacrifice myself for this either. And obviously, it's not going to let up unless it gets somebody.
Uh-huh.
So, like, she starts trying to, like, catch predators, okay? And she leads them to the river, okay? And she sacrifices 5 or 6 predators, okay?
Right.
Here's where it comes. Here it is,
Okay.
okay? And then all of a sudden, she hears this voice say, the river is happy. And she's like, thank God. So at this point, it's pretty late at night. But she happens to, like, look up and she sees what looks to be like a big bonfire. She's like, God, I hope there's not people over there that sees me, like, pushing these men in the river.
Right. Right.
So she kind of wanders that direction. Just
Number one rule of committing murder is don't get caught.
Right. So she starts wandering over to see. But she thinks, I didn't see that there before.
Mm-hmm.
It was odd. I like this. This is fun. So then she walks over there and she notices that there's this man standing next to the fire. It's just one man.
Yeah.
And she can't really see a whole lot. She just sees, like, the out, because he's got his back to her.
Right.
And she just sees the outline of a man. So she approaches and she says, excuse me, sir. And he turns around and this man is gorgeous.
Yeah. Are we about to start writing smut? What are we doing?
This man is gorgeous. And he turns around and she says, are you okay? And he says, I'm very well, thank you. And she says, okay. And she's like, surely if he saw me do that, then, he'd be, acting like he saw it.
Right.
And not be so put together.
Right.
And then the man looks at her and he says, thank you. I'm full now, or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, oh. And he says, these men that you brought to me were exactly what I needed. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you go ahead.
Okay.
Take it to a smut place if you feel
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of if I want to, like... Okay. She says... She stops and she says, are you the river? And he says, yes. I was. But I no longer am. Because you gave me what I needed. The comedian in me, the gummy, is telling me to say, and they lived happily ever after.
I mean, I'm kind of out of ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good ending. I no longer am.
Yeah.
And then
she was the chosen one.
It fades to black. Listen, you thought this was going to be a short episode. We've only done 2 of these and we're an hour in.
Nice.
I think 2 is, I think those 2 are pretty good ones.
Yeah.
I think we could probably save the rest of these for another time. We would make a killer fucking short story book.
Hell yeah.
That's like, that should be a podcast. That should be a podcast goal.
We didn't even take it to like a really stupid place.
Oh no. We actually made them pretty.
I wanted to real bad.
We did pretty good. We would write really good creepypastas.
We could.
Maybe
that can be a new segment for us.
Yeah. I do like doing these, like,
this was fun.
And make them like, we can even make them like themed around holidays and stuff.
Yeah.
They don't always have to be spooky like this. Like, they can be spooky. I mean, it's going to be weird. It's the Wanderers of Weird.
Right.
But they don't always have to be like this. I liked this. This was fun.
It was fun. This is a September.
So this is you. This is Alzheimer's.
So make sure that if you feel obliged to take a look at our nonprofit of the month, which is the Alzheimer's, what is it called?
Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah, that one. Self-explanatory. They're just looking, it's research trying to find a cure or, something that's going to help.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's is a pretty big deal. And I think that it affects
a lot of people. Yeah.
In big and small ways.
Yeah.
And if you have ever known anyone who has suffered from this, and you've been around, then you know how awful it truly is.
Yeah.
So the link that we've provided, I believe, is for our Tennessee branch, but there you can find, your respective state if you don't want to donate to the Tennessee branch. It all goes to the same place.
Yeah, it all goes to the same place. And there's tons of resources on that website and everything.
Yeah.
So
take a look at that off of our socials. And while you're there, make sure that you hit that follow button and the like button on all of our posts on Facebook,
Instagram,
TikTok,
YouTube.
And send us those episode ideas that you want to hear or
questions, comments, concerns,
stories,
personal experiences, anything. We'll take anything. We'll take any emails at all.
Yeah. And you can send those to wanderersofweird
@gmail.com.
Oh, Daddy. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I could have ended that.